Woo! We're live! Yay, we're live! Hi everybody. How are we all doing today? Hope we're all good. Oh, this is so cool. I've never been able to just chat live before. Normally I edit everything before I upload it, so this is fun. I hope you've all had a good day. Thank you for spending some of your Sunday with me. Oh, hi both of you in the chat. Nice to see ya. Thanks for joining. Hi. I see you, Rushy, with your little book emoji. Nice. So, thanks for joining me today. I basically just wanted to do a live stream to celebrate hitting 2,000 subscribers. That still blows my mind that I can even say that. Hello. Nice to see you live streaming. A little different to recording a video. You are absolutely right, Wolf Ranger. It is so different to what I'm used to. Yeah, 2,000 subscribers, 2,000 of you. I can't believe that I'm able to say that. So thank you so much. Oh, I'm loving the emojis in the chat. Got a little dragon in there as well. We all know how I feel about dragons. I don't need to say much about that. If you are a frequent visitor of my channel, then you'll know how I feel about dragons. Yeah, 2,000 subscribers. So I just wanted to commemorate that by doing a little celebration on a live stream. Thank you for the trophy emoji. Honestly, it does feel like a really big achievement to me, and I've just really enjoyed booktube in 2024. I feel like that's where my booktube journey started as well. Hello. Thank you very much, Wolf Ranger. Oh, thank you, everybody. Kieran, you are the prettiest sub. That is correct. I'm sure you are the most beautiful of all the subs. So yeah, I thought it'd be nice to just chat and see how we're all doing, talk all things bookish. Your bookshelf is so pretty. Thank you very much, because I've only just got this bookshelf and it took me forever to organize it. So I'm really I'm really glad that you've said it's pretty, because it actually did take me a while to do, longer than I would like to admit, to be fair, to organize it. So yeah, I thought that we could just chat all things bookish, really. Obviously, I love the fact that we have a live chat here so that I can respond to you with whatever you decide to say, really. We can just have a nice chat, a nice discussion. It's a lot more organized than mine. Great job. Thank you. Are you the type of person who likes to like organize series, like book series together, or do you just kind of throw whatever on there? I was a little bit like that at the start. I kind of put just whatever on my bookshelf, and then I took a step back and I just thought that does not look great. I know some people who color coordinate theirs as well, actually. That's a vibe. They look quite good. So yeah, let's have a chat. Mine is just purely vibes. I like it. I think that's it. If your bookshelf is you, if it's you, then that's all it needs to be. If it sums up you, then that is what it needs to be. And I feel like mine kind of does that as well. Although I strategically hide the bottom shelf of my bookshelf so nobody can see it, because that is just the mess pile. The bottom shelf that is directly on the floor is basically just a mess of books that I wish I could read, but haven't got around to yet. So I haven't really organized them. What brought you to booktube? Oh, well, I've honestly, I've always loved books. I've always loved reading. I never thought that I would do a booktube channel, because I mean, it's just always been a hobby, reading, to be honest. I've never thought about it too much. It was just always something that I wanted to do. Just get home from school, get home from work, and just read. I always preferred reading more than watching TV. That's just always who I've been. Um, I started actually vlogging on YouTube again in 2023. So I dabbled a little bit in YouTube a few years ago, then I started uploading weekly in 2023. But that was just kind of whatever. It was just really random stuff, like just filming my week and just doing whatever I wanted to, really. Um, which was nice, but it wasn't really like a niche. It was always just very sporadic, really random stuff. And then I did a book haul in one of those vlogs. And after I'd filmed it, I was like, oh goodness, I really like talking about books. Like, this is like my favorite vlog I've ever filmed, because I just talked about books for all of it. And yeah, it just kind of went from there. Wolfrian just says, we all have that shelf of shame that we don't want folks to see. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. The shelf of shame. So now you know, I've just outed myself that the shelf of shame is on the floor that you can never see. What's your thoughts on Fourth Wing? Oh, do I have it behind me? I do. I've not read it yet. It's on my TBR. I'm going to be reading it after I finish my current book, which is The Lives of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. I'll talk a little bit about that later on because I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, I really want to read Fourth Wing because I know that the third one comes out at the end of this month, and I really want to talk to people about it because I just have a feeling that I'm going to really like it. I don't know. I'm just getting. I really hope I do because I'm just getting the expectation that I'm really going to enjoy Fourth Wing. If I don't, I'll be gutted. Um, but I don't see why I wouldn't. It's got dragons in it, and I think it's got a little bit of spice in it, and I kind of like spice. The Wolf Ranger says, "I remember some of your older videos. You'll remember my videos from about 10 years ago. They were very very different to what I film now. Yeah, they were a bit crazy all over the place." Oh, lots of questions. How did you get into reading? Were you encouraged by parents? That's a very good question. Well, my dad does not read at all. Not really. He more plays games in his free time, to be fair. So it definitely wasn't him that encouraged me. My mum kind of reads a little bit. I would say, to be honest, I just picked up a book, tried it out, and just really, really loved it, and just kind of had a little bit of an obsession with it. Yeah, I feel like when my family were all watching TV in an evening, I was upstairs in my room reading, to be fair. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Just kind of picked up a book. Luckily, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed what the book was, and it just went from there. Is the bun making a guest appearance? Unfortunately, I don't think that Sir Bounce will be making an appearance today because it is nap time at the time of this live stream, which means that I can have some peace and quiet for once, and I don't need to attend to the cheeky bun. He's had a lot of playtime today, and it's been quite exhausting, to be honest. He's basically like a toddler in a bun's body. So yeah, we'll leave him to have nap time so that we can have this chat, and I don't need to go anywhere. Hi Becky, will you do any PWP videos again soon? I'm in my training. Congratulations on being in your training. I hope that you're enjoying it. I don't have any plans to do any PWP videos again soon, to be honest, because I feel like I've done ones in the past and I don't really know what more I can say. Like, if you do have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But at the moment, I don't really know what else I can really say about the training because it's different for everybody. So it's really hard to do a video that's versatile for everyone. I do still have my psychology TikTok though, which is more just like psychology based, like maybe tips and tricks for like aspiring therapists or yeah, things that maybe people could do in their practice with clients. So I might upload some things on there if I can think of stuff. I think I'm having a brain fart when it comes to psychology stuff at the moment, but congrats on being in your training because that's so hard to get onto. So you've done really well. Book versus ebook book. Physical book. Yeah, I've never had a Kindle, never had a what's the other one? Audiobook. I want to dabble in audiobooks, but yeah, just always been a physical book girly. Good morning to you, Kale, or good evening here. Nice to see you joining us on your nice Sunday morning. I can see the little bunny emoji in the chat as well. Oh, what is one of your all-time favorite books? This one is a very, very easy one to answer because I think if I point my finger, you can see him right there. This is my all-time favorite book. This is the GOAT. I can't even talk about it properly. Like the words just that don't make sense. George R. R. Martin, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. As soon as I read this, which was only last year, by the way, I only read this last year, it topped everything that I've ever, yeah, Dunk the Lunk. It's absolutely topped all books for me. I couldn't fault it, which I know is a controversial opinion because it's such a different writing style for George R. R. Martin. It's a lot more light-hearted. It's not quite as deep. It's not quite as detailed, but there was just something about it that I just absolutely loved. I got every emotion I wanted to from it. And yeah, it absolutely topped everything for me. But prior to this, because I only read this about 6 months ago, prior to that, my favorite book would have been Department 19 by Will Hill, which is classed as like a gothic fantasy. So I think it's probably a YA, to be honest. And that's kind of like your classic teenage boy who goes on an adventure kind of thing, but it's yeah, it's got like a military training camp in it for people to fight against supernatural forces. So yeah, it's really, really cool. I'd highly recommend it. I loved it. Books are just better, though I will give that Kindles are more convenient for traveling. That is very true. That is a very good point. For cozying at home, though, can't beat the weight and feel of a good book. I 100% agree with you. I don't know what it is, but the feel of a book in my hands just automatically makes me feel like cozy, wholesome. Just, yeah, it's my perfect remedy. But wanting to start that, I'm just kind of intimidated by the author because it seems like an epic fantasy, and that makes sense. There's like loads of authors and book series that I'm intimidated and daunted by, but with those kind of things, I like to take it slow. Like I don't like to rush myself. I kind of just pick up the book and don't give myself any pressure to finish it in a set time. I find that that's what helps for me when I feel intimidated by authors. Have you ever thought of reviewing graphic novels or mangas? I have. I actually thought about this just the other day, and I would actually quite like to because I'm interested to see what I think to it. I don't think I've ever read a graphic novel or a manga before. I definitely don't think I have. Nothing's coming to mind, and I feel like if I had done in the past, I would remember it. So yeah, if you've got any recommendations, that would be great because it's something that I do want to dabble into and see how I feel, and that'd be quite fun to review on my YouTube channel as well. What book stands out as one of your childhood faves? It's gotta be Harry Potter, which again I think is on my bookshelf. Is he behind me? Is that yeah, these are the Harry Potters. Yeah. So I read the first one as a child, and that one's definitely more tailored to children, 100%. And then I don't think I actually read the second one until I was like a teenager, maybe even an adult. I don't know. But the series is absolutely brilliant. And that first one stands out as a childhood book that I did love. Any plans to try writing yourself? Oh, I did. When I was younger, I did write. Um, I don't think it went too well. I uploaded it onto Wattpad. Does anybody remember Wattpad? Yeah, I think it was. I think it's still around, and people just write their stories and put it on there. And there's some brilliant, brilliant stuff on there. Yeah, I uploaded mine on there. I did. I think I almost did a full book, like basically like a standard 300-page book. Um, it was about school. I think it was about people in a school. Maybe there was vampires in it. I was going through a Twilight phase. Yeah, I think something to do like that. Either way, it didn't go very well. I don't think I'm a gifted writer, but I'd like to try again. But yeah, that didn't go very well. Hey, congrats on the 2K being here since 500. Humble bragging. Oh, that's cool. Thanks for sticking around. That's amazing. And thanks for being here as well. Night of the Seven Kingdoms are a series of 3 novellas. Might be a nice start to George R. R. Martin. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually a really good point. Thanks, Callum. I didn't say that. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms it would be a good introduction, actually, I would say. I don't think you need to read the whole A Song of Ice and Fire series before you read A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. This is actually a really good introduction because it introduces you to the world, but it's also like it's not as detailed of a writing style. So when I first read Game of Thrones, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit confused because there's just so much, like it's such an intricate world. And obviously George R. R. Martin is just a brilliant author, but there was just so much to process. I don't feel like A Night of the Seven Kingdoms would be confusing, and I don't feel like there's as much to process. So actually, if you read that first and then go into Game of Thrones, you'll probably find it's a lot easier to get to grips with what's going on in Game of Thrones. Give Sandman a go as well as Miracle Man. That is great. I will write those down. Thank you very, very much for that. I love getting recommendations. Sandman and Miracle Man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tim might be one to talk to if you want to try manga. Oh, really? I didn't know Tim was into manga. I'll give him a message. Thank you. Is there a specific genre that you don't enjoy as much? In terms of fiction, possibly not. I love most books I've read that are fiction. I've absolutely loved. Um, I'm trying to think if there is any actually. No, I've gone off. I don't know if this is like a genre. I've gone off YA at the moment, possibly because I'm just not the target audience for it anymore. Um, I did like because I was thinking, for example, of rereading some of the YA books that I used to absolutely love. You know, like City of Bones, Hunger Games, things like that. But I don't actually know if I'm the target audience anymore for those things. I'm not sure. That might just be a very prejudiced opinion, to be fair. But yeah, I tend to find that I'm not as much of a fan of nonfiction. I'm not sure why that is. I think books that are really, really informative and read like a nonfiction. I tend to like tap out a little bit more. I have to keep forcefully bringing myself back into the story, really, or not even a story if it's a non-fiction, just like the text. Hey, we all have to start somewhere. Don't beat yourself up for trying. Very wise words. Thanks for putting that. Excellent carrot cake. What an amazing username. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. I hope you're having a good one so far. Any genres you want to start reading? Yes. So, one of my actual 2025 book goals is just to diversify my genres that I read because I tend to just always stick to fantasy, romance, and romantasy. So, this year I want to try delving into some other genres. So I don't know if this classes as a genre, but again, we just mentioned like manga and stuff like that. Graphic novels is something I want to delve into. I want to try a bit more horror. Yeah, because I started The Horror King last year and I read my first Stephen King novel. Again, I've got him behind me. Sorry, it's like a mirror. I've got Stephen King right here. Um, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So I want to do some more horror, some more psychological thrillers, and I'd like to do much more sci-fi because I feel like I'm gonna really like sci-fi. And I think I have some on my bookshelf behind me as well. Dune? Does Dune class as a sci-fi? Because if so, I really, really want to read that. Um, Congrats on 2K. Thank you very, very much. Somebody has finally found out how to join the Sunday Reading Club. Thank you for joining. It's lovely to have you. Your name's come up in bold now as a member. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much for joining. It's nice to have you. Oh, thank you, Evie. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kev, from your favorite child. Have you ever read Babel by R.F. Kuang? I feel like that's something you might enjoy. I have not read that before, Vic. Thank you for saying that. I'm just going to write that down as well. See, I am loving this live chat because I've just been given so many amazing recommendations that I'm going to check out. This is great. Oh, The Martian is an excellent sci-fi one. Awesome. Project Hail Mary was another one I read recently, which was an enjoyable read. That is great. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be so busy this year. This is great. Thank you so much. Congratulations on 2K. Happy Monday from New Zealand. Love the channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. That's so kind. I hope you're having a nice start to your week. Horror Store is one of the most unique books I've ever read in the horror genre. Making a note of it. Thank you. Yeah, this is going to be the year where I just check out new genres because don't get me wrong, I love fantasy so much. It's honestly my favorite genre. I really resonate with fantasy novels and just absolutely love them. But I just thought I don't want to then not enjoy fantasy as much because I'm reading too much of it. Like there is like sometimes you can overdo it. And sometimes if I get too obsessed with something, I then get bored of it. And I really don't want that to happen with fantasy. So I think it's time to switch things up and look at some new genres for a bit. Dune defo classes as sci-fi. Dune is considered science fiction, though it's more sci-fantasy than anything. Cool. So that sounds like it might be a good one for me to try, especially if I love fantasy and I'm wanting to transition over into sci-fi. That sounds like it might be quite a good like middleman, but also erring on the side more of sci-fi. A good manga thriller is Death Note. Oh, I've heard of Death Note. When I was at school, loads of people used to talk about Death Note. I wish I'd listened now. Let me write that down. Awesome. Thank you very much, Space Walker. Another recommendation for Project Hail Mary. Martian is good as well. They're very similar. I thought Hail Mary was better. Cool. I'd be interested to see what I think. Wait till the chat starts moving faster than you can read. It gets interesting. Yeah, at the moment it's moving at a nice pace where I can read everything because I do like to chat to you. I couldn't imagine what it would be like if it was just going so fast. How do other people do this? Awesome. This has been a very productive live stream so far. I've had so many book recommendations. This is great. What's everybody currently reading, actually? Oh, Rushy, you read my mind. I was literally about to talk about The Lies of Locke Lamora because this is what I'm currently reading. Oh, Vic, that's such a nice question. How are you, like, just mentally? Everybody else, what book are you currently reading and how are you all? Like, how are you all actually? I'm feeling much better now. I had a difficult start to the year and a difficult end to 2024. But now I am starting to feel much better. And again, reading has been a helpful remedy for that. And yeah, Filming YouTube videos helps take my mind off things as well, actually. It's really good. It's like a bit of therapy for me. I like it. I've just started The World of Ice and Fire, and I'm loving every second of it. That is so great to hear. I think, yeah, that's on my TBR. I need to get through that. I can't believe I haven't read that already, to be fair. Just started Loch Lamora today, Brian. Awesome. I'd love to know what you think to it. I'm 350 pages in. Yeah, I personally found that it was like a little bit of a slow start, but now I am hooked. I think it took me probably about like almost 100 pages before I really got invested. But the storyline now, immerse, prepare yourself. You might need tissues. I definitely did. But then again, I am a bit of a wuss, to be fair. Currently reading The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Awesome. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking to it so far, Evie? Hope you're enjoying it. Currently reading Power of Thrones and recovering from surgery, Rushy. Yeah. Doing so well. Doing so well with your recovery. Really proud. I'm glad you're feeling better. I saw the ICU photo and got really concerned. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was quite a dramatic entrance to 2025, to say the least. But, you know, it wouldn't be me if it wasn't dramatic. So it fits with my personality. Currently on Lies of Loch Lamora. Awesome. Got another one for a good old bit of Scott Lynch. What are your thoughts on it so far? Vic is currently reading Crooked Kingdom, the second book in the Six of Crows series. I've heard about the Six of Crows series. That's one that I keep seeing it like popping up everywhere on like Book Talk and Bookstagram, and you know, you just scrolling the internet, I just see it kind of come up a lot. So that might be one that I might want to look into a little bit more. Currently not reading as haven't got the time, but want to get back into it. Probably read Skullduggery Pleasant as it's gateway back into it later in the year. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good one to get into. I hope you find the time soon. I know that a lot of people, like, that's why they listen to audiobooks, because if they don't have the time, then they can kind of like, they don't have to sit down and read. They can just kind of listen to it as they're doing things. But I don't know, I'm a bit hesitant to try an audiobook myself. So I'm not like recommending that. But yeah, hopefully you get the time soon to be able to sit down and read, because I don't know what I would do if I couldn't read. I just love it so much. I like the style so far, but I'm only like 50 pages in, still figuring out what's going on. Seems like it jumps around between timelines a bit. Yeah, Brian, that's why I got so confused with it at first, because there is like a massive jump in timelines, and I found it quite hard to work out what timeline we were in, and then like storylines didn't really make sense. But like I say, I'm a really big chunk into it now, and I think once I got used to the writing style, then I started to really appreciate the story. So I hope the same happens for you as well, because it's gripping at the moment. So far, so good for Evie and her book. Started reading The Hobbit because of your review. Was due for a reread. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I honestly really loved The Hobbit. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was actually expecting it to be a lot more detailed. Even though that was silly of me, because somebody did tell me before I read the book that it was originally written for Tolkien's children. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that fact, but I'm sure that's what somebody told me. So I don't know why I was expecting it to be so detailed. I think it's just because I had it in my head that Lord of the Rings was this big, massive, like really detailed, intricate world. And I'm sure that Lord of the Rings is. I think I just expected that The Hobbit was going to be the same, but it really wasn't. But it surprised me. I liked it. The writing style was so much more different to what I thought. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It's a really cozy, wholesome read. It's a good pick me up for like a difficult day. And it definitely came at the right time for me, for sure. It's great. The timelines threw me too, but it's good. Yeah. Do you have any advice for getting out of a reading slump? So, I'm very fortunate that I've not had a reading slump for a while, which probably means that one is due, to be honest. It happens, but I think what I did last time I had a reading slump was I basically just picked a really, really easy reread that I know I like. So for example, now this is the book that I'm going to use in the future if I have a reading slump. And back then, when I last had my slump, again, it was a book that I knew I enjoyed. I knew that it was one I really, really liked. And I just kind of picked it up and paced myself slowly with it. Like, I didn't give myself much pressure, but at the same time, I did give myself a very small goal to try and get me back into the momentum. So I think I gave myself like a 10 or 20 page goal each day, and then just because that can, or maybe you might want to do it in like a time. So you might want to say, like, I'm going to do 15 minutes of reading every day this week, and then just gradually build it up to get back into it. And set aside the time, like just make it something special. Like I always just try to make sure that my time to read is like for me, like really special time if you can. I know not everybody's schedules allow them to do that, but yeah, if you can make it something special, then I'd recommend that. That worked for me. Sometimes it just takes time as well. Some reading slumps go on for ages, and then all of a sudden you just wake up and it's gone, and you're like motivated to read again. So yeah, don't put too much pressure on yourself. I've tried audiobooks, but I have the unfortunate habit of ignoring people, so they don't really work for me. Yeah, I feel, yeah. That's the thing, I zone out. Like, it's too easy to ignore audio. I don't know, I do the same with TV shows. Sometimes I just kind of zone out of it, and then I'm like, "What even was on the TV screen for the past 5 minutes? I didn't even pay attention." Are you from Australia? I'm not from Australia. Do I sound like I am? That's interesting. I'm from the UK, Britain. Do you plan on reading any other George R. R. Martin? Always. Um, again, there was what's the one called where it has vampires in it? I'm just seeing if it's in the front of the Seven Kingdoms. Oh wow, there's a lot. Fever Dream. Fever Dream. That's the one that I want to pick up first. But obviously he's got so much out there. He's got so many works. You're never stuck for content with George R. R. Martin. So definitely want to delve into a bit more of his other stuff that isn't A Song of Ice and Fire, because I think that'll be really interesting. But yeah, I've just got so much on my TBR at the moment that it's hard to get through everything. I wish I had all the time in the world, to be honest, but oh well, I'm sure I'll get through a big chunk of it. I do exactly the same for me. It's Starship Troopers. I got addicted to story-driven video games. Ooh, it's like a good book you control and choose your way to do it. Ooh, okay. Story-driven. Now, I don't know if this classes it. If I'm about to sound really, really dumb, please just let me know. But I've just started Hogwarts Legacy, and there's a story mode on that. And at the moment, it's been majoritively cutscenes, and it's felt like a movie. And I feel like I've walked twice and waved a wand a little bit, and then the rest of it was cutscenes. So is that like a story-driven video game at the moment? I'm enjoying it, but yeah, there's a lot of cutscenes. It is like a movie. But yeah, the time went so quick when I started it. I'd played for like 3 hours and it felt like 3 minutes. So I essentially entered a time warp. Bit of a stretch, but do you reckon you'd ever get into zombie books? I used to read a series called The Dead, I think. Real good story. I don't see why not. Like, why would, yeah, I reckon I could. I mean, again, I used to be a bit obsessed with vampire books. So why would zombie books not be the same? I'm gonna make a note of that. Thank you so, so much. What's it called? The Dead. Thank you for the recommendation. You do not sound Australian. Okay, cool. That's great. Because I'm not Australian, so that's good. I mean, it's not good. They've got a lovely accent, but yeah, it'd just be misleading. Fever Dream is my favourite from him outside of A Song of Ice and Fire. Oh, great. Okay, I have great expectations for that then now. So I've picked a goodie then to start off with. Awesome. It's on my TBR. It's quite far up the TBR, to be honest. So I definitely think this is going to be the year where I read it. Maybe we should try and get you to play the Hobbit PC game. The Hobbit PC game? There's a Hobbit PC game. How did I not know this? Why did I not know this? See how you compare it to the book. That's a brilliant idea. How did I not know what? I literally learned as well about 5 minutes before this live stream that there are 3 Hobbit movies. I thought there was only 1. How is there 3 of them? How do I not know this stuff? What is your Hogwarts house? It's always Hufflepuff. So what was the website? Was it Pottermore? Was that the website where you could put in your characteristics and your personality traits, and it would tell you what your Hogwarts house was? Always Hufflepuff. And today on Hogwarts Legacy, it had like a thing where you had to answer loads of questions, and it would tell you your house from the Sorting Hat. And again, Hufflepuff. Why am I always Hufflepuff? I don't want to be a Hufflepuff. I want to be a Ravenclaw. Well, maybe I just am a Hufflepuff. I just need to accept it by now. Have you ever not enjoyed a book? Do you persist in reading to the end or stop reading? I have not enjoyed books actually, and I do actually think one of them is on the bookshelf behind me. Oh, yeah. The most recent book that I'm sorry if anybody likes this book, I I'm gonna go as far as to say I hated it with a passion. I've kept it because the cover of it is really, really cute. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. I'm sorry if you like this book. I like the others in the series, okay? This is the second in the Dream Harbor series. I liked the first and I liked the third. I do not like this. It was not good for me. That's my opinion. It just there was no plot. Somebody try and tell me what the plot was. What did I read 300 pages about? Because I couldn't tell you. Nothing really happened. But yes, I do persist in reading to the end. I never DNF a book, which I know is wrong because everybody says life is too short to force yourself to read books that you're not enjoying. But I'm sorry, I just can't put a book down and not finish it. I just physically can't. It gives me the shakes if I don't know what happens. And yes, I could Google and find out what happens in the book, but I just can't. I always give books a chance. And I know that's wrong because life is too short. Will we see you venture into games in the future? Possibly. I don't know. Do you want to see that? Um, yeah, and if so, let me know what. I was thinking as well, I had this like well, it wasn't really a thought, it was more of just a random dream where I wasn't doing booktube. And I would stream me grinding out on RuneScape. Does anyone remember RuneScape? I I've played that for the majority of my life, if I'm being honest, and still do to this day. So if anybody wants to chat whilst I play RuneScape, please let me know so I'm not alone. Hobbit PC game live stream. Yeah, so, sure. I can work out how to play games and live stream them. Kiwi here, Aussies do not have a lovely accent. I'm sure that you're just being like everybody else who is self-deprecating. I would say that English people don't have a lovely accent. I'm being honest, I actually really do like the Australian accent. I watched Married at First Sight Australia last year, and I was just obsessed purely because of the accents. Random fact that you didn't need to know, but there you go. Yeah, there is. I played it a lot as a kid. I'll help you get it sorted if you want. Thank you very much, Wolf Ranger. That would be very helpful. I will need help because, yeah, trying to play Hogwarts Legacy earlier, it took me a while to get past the tutorial because I just could not work out the controls, and they're not even difficult. I don't know. I don't know what is wrong with me. My coordination is not good, so I will need help. So they split up The Hobbit into a trilogy, trying to recreate the success of Lord of the Rings. It was not a good idea. Oh, that's so sad to hear. That is maybe that's why I only watched the first Hobbit and then didn't watch any of the others or didn't care for it. Oh, sup, Becky? Just joined the stream. Hope it's going well. Hello, JC. Nice to see you. Hope that you're well. Thanks for joining. And then someone's put Hufflepuffs unite. Yes, my fellow Hufflepuffs. Actually, what Hogwarts house is everybody else? I've just realised I talked about my own and I didn't talk about any of yours. What Hogwarts house are you all, or would you want to be? The Hobbit movies aren't great. First one was enjoyable, but it very quickly went downhill. That honestly, that makes me so sad because, I mean, anything that Tolkien does is like a legacy. So when a movie adaptation doesn't do justice for it, it just makes me sad. And actually, a little bit of a tangent, but this is why I'm actually very, very worried for the new TV series for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms that is due to come out this year. I am absolutely terrified. I thought I was excited, and I now have realized that I think I'm more terrified because I just value the book so highly. Why do I feel like I'm going to cry? Are my eyes getting glassy? Honestly, I need to get a grip. I just value the book so highly that if the TV show doesn't do it justice, I just won't be able to watch. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's change the subject because I actually feel like I could cry. The original plan was for there to be two Hobbit films, one following Bilbo and one following the White Council. That's interesting. I wonder why they didn't stick to that. Do you think it was like a money thing? Do you think they were trying to or like Brian said, trying to recreate the success of Lord of the Rings, so kind of following that route? But I don't know. I wonder why they did that because it sounds like they made a mistake. If you do want to get into gaming videos / live streams, then let me know. Happy to help you get started on that. Thank you so much because you are a pro at it. So I would really appreciate any tips and advice on that. I'll let you know if that's something that my viewers want to see, then I will definitely seek out your advice because that would be great. It'll be coming from a very valuable source. Oh, a gaming section would be epic. Honestly, Skyrim. Oh, Skyrim. Blast from the past. How old is Skyrim now? It's old, isn't it? Right? It's definitely not recent anymore. That would be cool. Oh, I would, yeah. Now I kinda wanna play Hogwarts Legacy again. I'm getting the itch to play games now. But then this is where the booktube channel goes downhill because 'cause I'll spend all my time playing games rather than reading. Ugh, too many hobbies, not enough time. Sarah Frank says, "Hi Becky, congrats on the 2K. Thank you very much. Found you because of your Game of Thrones videos, and I really enjoy your way of reviewing it, always comparing it to the books, which I also enjoyed a lot." Thank you for the lovely comment. I'm really glad to hear that. I do try to keep referring to the books when I'm reviewing them because I heard from other people that a lot of people read the books after the TV show rather than before, whereas obviously I did it the other way round. So hopefully I can offer a little bit of a different perspective. But yeah, thank you for the nice comment. Have you ever read Sweet Bean Paste? It's a lovely story that's not too long, made me tear up a bit at the end. Oh, I do love a tearjerker. No, I've not read it. Again, I'll add it to the list. This is getting to be a very long list, but thank you very much, everyone. I will definitely check some of these out. Amazing. Congratulations on the 2K. Add one more to it. Thank you so much. That's so kind. Appreciate that. Yeah, everybody say welcome to the club, Max. Everybody welcome Max. The two Red Dead Redemption video games, very story driven, made a big giant guy like me turn into a crying mess. No spoilers. Oh, okay. Well, if a big giant guy like you cried at it, then I'm just not going to be able to cope, am I? But that makes it all the more interesting. I will definitely check that out. Be careful who you call a professional. My community may not agree with you. Experienced, maybe. Oh no, you're a professional. You are definitely a professional, Wolf Ranger, from what I've seen. Hi, Becky. Just wanted to say congrats to you and I wish you continued success. My Steelers got beat. I heard. No surprise there. Yeah, I do wish I was shocked, but I did hear that. I'm very sorry. But Fields did get him for a few plays though. I'm a Bucks fan now. Lol. That's so funny. Every time when Fields was in the Bears, every time they would play, I would always used to joke afterwards that I'm switching my favorite team. I mean, I actually did. It was always the Bears and the Dolphins that were like that. But then after watching the Bears, the Dolphins just, yeah, they took it for me. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but I feel, yeah, I understand your pain. And thank you for the nice comment. You could do book videos and gaming streams. It can be tough to balance though. That's a great idea. And to be fair, I thought that I would actually struggle with doing my current upload schedule. So I'm doing 2 videos a week and like very, very regular shorts. Like basically I'm aiming for 3 days a week with the shorts, but I'm trying to do a little bit more. Um and it is tough, but I think when you're enjoying it's a different kind of tough. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's like I want to do it more because I really, really enjoy doing it, even if people don't look at the stuff. I mean, that just makes it even more better that people actually do watch and like and chat with me and comment and stuff. Like that's so rewarding. But yeah, I think it's just so fun. So I can imagine doing gaming streams would be equally as fun. So we'll see. We shall see what the future holds. Usually, if TV shows fail to adapt book series, I just tell myself the poor adaptation is non-canon and it shouldn't be because it's not the original series. So I wouldn't worry about, yeah, do you know what? Thank you, because I will need some reassurance. And that's what a lot of people actually did say regarding Game of Thrones, like the later seasons. We all know that, well, I've heard because I've not watched, that they were not what the fans wanted, to say the least. And a lot of people said to me, like provided me with advice to look at the two as like completely separate entities. How like the books are completely like they're different. They're completely individual, like holistic from the TV show. And I think looking at things like that is probably going to help me with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms TV show. That it is just then they're not the same. Like they're an adaptation. They're not identical. I worded that very poorly, but I'm sure you get my gist. Everybody's welcoming Max. Books or games? You can only pick one. Okay, ask me this, like, 10 years ago, I would have said games. Right now, I'm gonna say books. Yeah. The reason why I say ask me 10 years ago is because I definitely had a Sims 2 addiction for a good probably 8 years of my life, I would say. Yeah, it was definitely an addiction. And actually back in the day, I made a YouTube channel for Sims 2 videos, and I used to hire voice actors, and we used to do episodes of Sims 2, and I would do, like, all this, like, filming stuff and make episodes of TV series, and people would voice it. Yeah, it was very serious stuff. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Books. Books is my answer right now. Are you a fan of classic literature as well? Yeah, I mean, the ones that I have read, I would like to read more classic literature, so I don't actually think I'm able to call myself a fan yet because it'd be like fake fan. I've not really read enough. But when I do read more, I have expectations that I will enjoy it and be able to call myself a fan. If you want to get into sci-fi, Angry Planet might be a good one. Is that is that the Becky Chambers one? Is this what you mean? Just because it's got the words Angry Planet in it. Oh, why am I doing it like that? The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, Becky Chambers. Yes! Awesome. Well, I have it and I do want to get into it. So that is perfect. Thank you for the recommendation. I won't write that one down because I already have it. Amazing. Any update on the January book club? And more importantly, is the February book club poll closed? Do you know what? How have I been talking for 40 minutes? I was actually going to close the book club poll for February in this live stream, but I got completely sidetracked. So thank you for bringing me back on track for what I was meant to be discussing. I hope you all realise how chaotic my brain is, and this is why I have to edit my videos heavily. So, obviously, for those of you who don't know, I've talked about it a lot, so I'm really sorry if I'm repeating myself to those that do know, but I am starting a book club on this here YouTube channel. So the January book is The Lies of Loch Lamora. As I know some of you are reading it already, so I'm excited for us to go through and discuss that. So the live stream for that is on is it on the 25th? The 25th. Sorry, my calendar's here. But we need to pick February's book. So I did do a poll on my community tab. Let me close it now, and then we can see which book won. There were 4 books that were in the poll. Here we go. So the 4 books that we picked were Nevernight by J. Christoph, Dune by Frank Herbert, The Gunslinger by Stephen King, and The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I'm not gonna lie, there's a very, very clear winner so far. So how do I close a poll? Okay, I'll work out how to close it later. But at the moment, the winner with 43% of the votes, and thank you, by the way, because it's got a lot more votes than I thought it would. So thank you to everybody who has voted. With 43%, the winner is Dune by Frank Herbert. There's Dune behind me, isn't there? Yeah. Oh, okay. This is really, there we go. So Dune is the winner of the February book club. So if you want to join, it is free, by the way. All you need to do is grab a copy of Dune and read it before the live stream in February, which will be on Saturday, the 22nd. I hope that you'll get on board with it. If you've already read Dune, feel free to come and chat about what your thoughts were on it. But yeah, thank you very much for reminding me that I was meant to pick the February book club in this live stream, Rushy. I really appreciate that. The Wolf Ranger says, you've had more YouTube channels than I have, which is saying something. Do you know what? You are so right. I genuinely think I have had maybe about 5. Have I? Yeah. A lot of them were back in the day. I've been on YouTube for a while, but a lot of them were just very random, whereas this is the only one I've taken seriously, other than the Sims 2 one, because that got very, very serious, and there were a lot of arguments with other people, which was very sad. Okay, if you want to get more into classics, please read in caps lock. So it's very important. The Count of Monte Cristo. It's very long, but it's such a phenomenal story. I wasn't bored at all. That is great. Let me write that down. Thank you very much. Count of Monte Cristo. Thank you so much. And that is a very impressive review of it. So I've got very high expectations for that. Looks like Rushy is very excited to read Dune. I am as well, actually. I don't think I'll reread Dune this year, but I've read it many times over the years. So look forward to hearing thoughts. Brilliant. That's great. I'd be so interested to see what your thoughts are on it as well. So yeah, obviously I'll have read it by the 22nd of February, and I'm really excited to chat to you about our thoughts and opinions on it. I think a lot of people have read Dune, to be fair. Again, all of these books I'm very late to the party with. Monte Cristo is great, very long though. How many pages is it actually? I mean, I can just Google. Let me see. Monte Cristo page count. 1,200. Oh yeah, you're right. That is long, but if it's one of those books where you are just gripped, like you are sucked into it, you are completely immersed in it. And sometimes books that long don't feel that long because you're just completely immersed in it. And those are the best types of books when an author can make it so captivating. And like you said, you're not bored at all. That is the sign of a really great author. So I am very excited to pick that one up. Again, I won't give myself a goal on how quick to read that. Sometimes I try and tell myself to read a book within a certain time frame, but I think with that one, I'll just kind of pace it however long I feel like spend my time with it. Don't rush it. It's definitely a book that grips you. I'm not going to pretend there weren't times I was wishing he'd move on. Yeah, I mean, with a book that long, I'm sure there's going to be times where you're just like, hurry up. We don't need this much detail. But like you say, if it's gripping and interesting, then sometimes you can deal with that a little bit better, I think. I think it's easier to deal with. I mean, to be fair, I felt a little bit like that with this book at the start, The Lies of Locke Lamora. There are parts where I thought, can we move on a little bit? But now that I'm like immersed in the book and can really value and appreciate it, I can kind of get over the initial thoughts that I had at the start. For sure, it sounds very long, but it really doesn't feel like 1,200 pages. I had such a great time. Oh, this is such like a strong recommendation. I'm really excited. It does. It sounds yeah, I'm going into it with really high expectations now. So I hope it lives up to it. It sounds like it will. Oh, any locations in A Song of Ice and Fire you'd want some novellas to set in? Some novellas set in. Yes, I would. I'm sorry, I'm thinking. The cogs are trying to turn. I really like Bravos, where Aria. Oh, I'm not going to say anything actually in case nobody's read it and they want to. So I'm going to stop there. I don't want to spoil anything. Oh, that was a close one. Yeah, Bravos. I love the whole layout and the setup, like the formation of it, the way that George R. R. Martin has described it, I find very, very interesting. And I would like to know more because I feel like there's not really that much of A Song of Ice and Fire that's set there. There's like a little bit towards the end, but it's not like the current end. But I want more because I really, really enjoyed the chapters that were set there. I'll probably say that. In some cases, it is more immersive to have lots of detail. Yeah, you are correct. I feel like that in regards to a lot of Peter F. Hamilton novels like Pandora's Star and Judas Unchained duology. Yeah, I think the authors do need to get a balance, like because sometimes if I read a book and it's too brief, I'm like, well, where is the detail? Like, I would like more. Um, and I like an author to set the scene for me, to tell me, to tell me about the environment, to tell me about the characters, more about their personalities, what their appearances are like. I want more detail. So yeah, I do like detail. I think it's just sometimes if the plot feels like it's very stagnant and it doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere, then at that point, I'm a bit like, can we add something new into this? Like, just to try and move the plot along a little bit. But I love a good bit of world building, to be fair. If there are chapters in a book where it's just setting the scene or laying the foundations for future plots, or yeah, just building that world and that universe, I do really like that. That's where I feel like a lot of detail is great. Not sure if I wanted to go to Bravos. Yeah, oh, I definitely don't want to go to Bravos. I would just love a novella set there. I don't want to go there myself. Somebody else can go. Getting myself killed only because of looking the wrong way at one of those Bravosy swordsmen. Yeah, no, I don't want to step foot there. Which is why somebody else can do it for me. And then that novella can be about them, not me going, because yeah, wouldn't be the safest place, would it? But then again, is there anywhere that is safe in the Song of Ice and Fire universe? Possibly not. Oh, where she's got some good ones. A Shy. Yeah. Yeah, there's some amazing locations actually. There's actually loads of locations that we haven't even really touched upon in A Song of Ice and Fire, isn't there, when you think about it? Do you ever read any particularly favorite character tropes? Um, Currently, probably not any particular ones. In the past, I definitely used to go for like the same thing all the time. But I think my reading style now is a lot more diverse. Like I just tend to like kind of pick up anything, to be honest, at the moment. But back in the past, it was definitely like young boy with a squad of friends who saves the day. You know, Harry Potter, Aragon, Percy Jackson. You know, all of the. I mean, the one in Will Hill, Department 19. It's all young teenage boy who saves the day, battles against these evil creatures, and has a squad of really close, wholesome friends and companions. They were the things that I tend to read all the time. And to be fair, they all work really well, but they've all got very, very similar male characters, I do think. Have you moved on to Eldest after Aragon yet? I did. So I started Eldest in my 24-hour reading challenge that I did, which, subtle plug, if you haven't watched the YouTube video for that, I did upload that last week. I'm not going to lie, that challenge was very hard. By the end of it, I felt like I didn't have eyes anymore. I felt like they'd fallen out because reading for that long, yeah, it's not healthy. I love reading, but reading for 12 hours in one day, it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. And Eldest was the last book that I started, so I in that challenge. So I got 50 pages in, and I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in those 50 pages because I was so drained and I was so tired and I was not a good human being at that point. So I've decided I'm gonna reread it. Well, reread the first 50 pages. So then I can appreciate it properly because I loved Aragon so, so much when I read it. I honestly, I valued it so highly. Like, I loved it so much. I don't want to ruin my experience of Eldest by reading it when I was in a very zombified state. So I'm just going to reread the first 50 pages. So there you go. There's a little behind the scenes of how very difficult that reading challenge was. Wouldn't recommend. So as Scott mentioned, when you're famous, can we expect a live stream with professional authors, up and coming authors, that sort of stuff? When I'm famous, God, wouldn't we all want to be rich and famous? I mean, I'd love to do stuff with aspiring authors, to be fair. I love hearing about new authors. So if there are any authors or aspiring authors who are writing stuff that you'd like me to check out, that would be great. I mean, I would love I would love that so much because I'm clearly not going to become an author myself because I just do not have that talent. But I actually do know quite a few people who do have that talent, and I think that they should pursue that. So that would be cool. Your accent is so cool. Thank you very much. That is very kind. Um, I must disagree, but that's probably because I hear it all the time that I get bored of it. But thank you very much. You've described the hero's journey to a T. Yeah, I have. But it works well. The hero's journey works well. One of my favourite character tropes is probably the older hero who goes on one final quest. Oh, that's so wholesome. Even though they aren't as strong as they used to be. No idea why, but it's so gripping. Yes, that is that's one that pulls at the heartstrings. And when it's like that real loyal character and he's got all the right morals and all the right places, and he's doing it one last time. That's a tearjerker. Those ones tend to be tearjerkers, I find. Any particular first love book that you still reread now? Hmm. I'm looking at A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is gonna be a reread. I've reread parts of it since I read it, but I'm gonna read it again all in full because I just think about it probably once a day. It's my Roman Empire. Anybody remember that meme? That once a day I think about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Um, any in the to be fair, a book, very random, but I do reread this every year, and I just loved it the first time I read it, and it's just yeah, it's always one that I will wanna read every year, is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I read that every October. I don't know why, I just love it, and it's become, like, a tradition for me to read every year. I don't know why. I love it. Might be worth rereading the 50 pages as it starts with a pretty large event. Yeah, no spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers, but yeah. And I think that's why I want to reread the first part of Eldest because I want to get the desired emotions that the author intended. And I want to really immerse myself in it and really feel. And I think that when I was reading it the first time, I was kind of like reading the events, and then I was a bit like, oh, that this has happened. And then it wasn't quite sinking in. And that's such a shame. I don't want to do the book a disservice by that. So definitely just going to reread the first 50 pages. How long do you typically read in between sessions? What do you do in between? How long do I typically read? So, if you mean like how long do I normally sit down and read for in each session? Normally depends on the day and depends what I can do. Every morning without fail, I'll wake up and read for half an hour. It's the first thing I do. I wake up, I make a coffee, I read. I love doing that. And I cuddle my bunny because he loves that as well. Um, and then throughout the day, I will try and just like maybe read at lunch or maybe read before bed for another half an hour. Or normally they're in 30-minute like segments. And then yeah, I think that's probably a schedule that works quite well for me, especially if you are like working as well. If in the future I'd love to read all day every day, but 30 minutes at a time will do for me. Yorkshire accent. Ding ding ding, you get a prize. That is correct. Yorkshire. When I get to it, I do want to do more writing myself. I need to get on with one short story in particular. Early on with my writing though, so it's not likely to be particularly any good. But I would encourage you to do it, like especially if you enjoy it. And writing stories takes so much time and effort as well. So yeah, get on with it, crack on with it. I'd love to. If you want me to read it, I mean, this is basically me saying I really, really want to read it, but no pressure. I would love to. I'd absolutely love to read what you got. White Rose, yeah, White Rose of Yorkshire. Dracula is so good. You are correct. It's so good, and this is why I read it every year. So cool that you're able to get a reading session done in mornings. Almost never works out for me. I do hours in the evenings sometimes, catch up on weekends on Saturdays with 3 hours. Yeah, the actually that's a good point. The weekends are a lot easier. I will normally spend like a good chunk of time reading in the afternoons on a Saturday and a Sunday, maybe like an hour and a half, get a nice drink, sit down and just read for a good chunk of time. But yeah, it depends on everybody's schedules, really. Like my schedule allows me to have a little bit of a slower morning and spend 30 minutes reading, whereas other people might have to get up and do stuff straight away, and vice versa. There'll be parts of my day that are like really busy where I wish I could sit and read, and then that might be the opportunity where somebody else would be able to. So it does just depend on like what works for you. Um, but yeah, I've just recently got back into reading on an evening again, and I do really like it. North of the Wing. Is Emmerdale your favourite soap opera? No, Coronation Street is. I do love Corrie. And actually, there was an episode of Corrie the other day that made me cry. And that's crazy because Corrie's not actually that good. And that's why it's good. Like, and it's like it's so bad that it's good. Like, in terms of like the episodes, they're very like low effort. But there was an episode the other day that, wow, they'd ramped it up a notch. Anyway, you didn't come here for me to talk about Corrie. But yeah, that is my favourite. You can write just for fun. You just have to start somewhere. Absolutely right. Most anticipated read of the year. There's loads. Oops, I've got an alarm going off on my phone. I am actually very, very, very excited to read the third one of Fourth Wing. The what's it called? Is it the Empyrean? Is it called the Empyrean series? I have a feeling it's called the Empyrean. Just because again, I feel like I am going to absolutely love it. But I need to be updated with other releases. Like there's so many new releases coming up. I need to be updated with those because there's going to be absolutely loads that I cannot wait to read. So yeah, what if there's any anticipated reads of the year that you guys have, let me know because I'd be really interested to see. Do you have a favorite TV show or film adapted from a book? Yeah, this is probably a very generic answer, but I do actually think the Harry Potter movies are brilliant adaptations of the books. Obviously, the books are just a whole nother level because there's so much detail in there that you just don't get in the movies just due to time. But I do actually think the movies are very, very good adaptations of the books, in my opinion. One hell of an underrated author is David Gemmell. His heroic fantasy is second to only probably Tolkien. Let me make a note of that. Couldn't recommend his Draenei saga highly enough. His books Legend or Waylander are brill. Well, that is somebody that I'm gonna check out. Thank you very, very much. Brilliant. Station 11 for me. Simple task. Brilliant. Much nicer accent than the Scullywag next door. I lived in Liverpool for a year. Yeah, the Liverpudlian accent is it's something else, isn't it? I do actually quite like it because everybody who has a Scouse accent sounds really eccentric. Like they always sound like really upbeat and stuff. Whereas I feel like sometimes my Yorkshire accent can sound very like dull, like a bit like I'm tired all the time, which I am. Oh, yeah, definitely not the Aragon adaptation. You're so right. Aragon, that movie. So I did watch the movie before I read the book, and I didn't realize the book was going to be so good because I'd watched the movie first. Isn't that sad? Get the little violin out. Very, very sad. For me, probably Halcyon Years. Probably butchered that by Alistair Reynolds. That should be out this year. Brilliant. I hope it does come out this year so that you can read it. What are your thoughts on the Harry Potter TV show? So, is that officially announced? Is it actually coming out? I didn't know if it was a rumor or not. Again, scared. I don't think it needs. I don't think it needs a TV show. I can see why they're doing it. It's potential. It's an opportunity, but I don't personally feel like they need it, and I don't think it will be as good as the movies. Yeah, but I will still watch it. Say Winter is Coming or King in the North, 100% a Stark accent. Actually, I've got a Winter is Coming plaque up there. Let me see if you can see this. Ah! Winter is coming. There we go. Love a bit of Sean Bean. Represent Yorkshire. The Aragon film genuinely made me angry. Yeah, I can see why. Even as a standalone film, it's pretty crap. As a recreation of the book, it's a travesty. Yeah, and that is so sad because they could have done so much better. That is something I would quite like them to remake. If they did like a new movie or a new TV show of Aragon, that would be better. How do you feel about Peter Dinklage's accent? I remember when the show first started, there were a lot of complaints about it. He was so great, everyone put up with it though. I love his accent. Oh my goodness, I watched Wicked yesterday and he voices a goat in Wicked. And I recognised it straight away because I love his voice and I love his accent. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember if that's consistent with what Tyrion is supposed to sound like or if that's like an error on the casting part. But in terms of his general voice, he could put me to sleep. He's so relaxing. Love it. Oh, they're casting it. Oh, I didn't even know that. So it is gonna be a thing then, so it's not a rumor. Wow. Well, I hope it's good. I will watch it. I don't think they need it. I hope it's not Amazon that's making it, yeah. Oh, was Rings of Power on Amazon? That was yeah, I mean, I kinda liked it at first, and then I realized it's not a good representation of J.R.R. Tolkien's work. Wow, we've been on this stream for a while. I will wrap it up soon, but thank you everybody who's joined so far. Um, so far Amazon has done quite good shows, guest opinions differ. Yeah. I what other shows have they done? I feel like I do watch quite a lot on Amazon actually, when I've come to think about it. Yeah, there's definitely something that I've just finished that was on Amazon. I get confused as to what's on Amazon and what's on Netflix. Yeah, I agree. Amazon is hit and miss. Yeah. Secret Level has been pretty accurate to the sources, but some others are just not that. Yeah, I think that's it. I think you put it perfectly. It's very hit or miss. You just don't know what you're gonna get. But again, I watch stuff, I finish stuff. I can't DNF a TV show. I don't quit. So if I do start watching something, I will finish it. But yeah, you never know what it's going to be like. Um, anyway, I will keep answering questions in the chat, but there was also a part of this today where I wanted to just answer some questions that people had sent me on Instagram and on my community tab. I feel like today has been a whole like ask me anything, which is quite nice. But I did ask people online if they wanted me to answer any questions for them as well. So I'll just quickly go on there and see what those people said as well, so that I don't miss their questions. HBO doing the Harry Potter TV show. Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe it could be okay then. Yeah. I think my expectations might be going up. Thoughts on House of the Dragon season 3? I like House of the Dragon. I thought the season 2 finale was a little bit of a disappointment, and now having read Fire and Blood, I do think that there's more, like, events that they've saved for season 3 that are gonna yeah, I think they're gonna be quite vital and come up. I don't think there was much in season 2, but I also heard that that was because they were gonna give it a set amount of episodes, and then they had to cut it down. So, like, they had to cut it down by 2 or 3 episodes, so they had even less than they were anticipating. So, they kind of rushed it, which makes sense. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. I hope it's okay. Thank you, Ryan. Is this channel mostly for books? At the moment, it seems to be. Books and Game of Thrones, really. But we've had a chat today about me diversifying into other reactions, and did we say I was gonna be a gaming channel now? What I think we've talked about everything today. But yeah, mostly books at the moment because that is the phase of life that I'm in. But to be fair, I do love books. Have you read Robin Hobb? Yes. Can you there's some Robin Hobb down there. Uh, I've only read Assassin's Apprentice. That's the only one. So book 1 in the Farseer trilogy. I want to read more because wowzer, what an author. Yeah, will absolutely be reading more Robin Hobb. So no spoilers, please, because yeah, I'd absolutely love to read more. Games, nice, awesome. That's somebody else who wants me to start doing games. Great. Okay, thank you. You've all been so helpful today, and let me know what you want to see. What games? Give me some recommendations on games you want to see me play, and then I'll switch up a little bit. So just answering a question that was on my community page from someone called Jammer. How many fiction, all genres, books have you read till now? How many fictional books have I read till now? Hundreds. If we're looking at my entire life. Sorry if you had that alarm go off again. Hundreds. I started logging them on Goodreads a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And there's 101 books on there. I added 2 today, so there was 99. There's 101 books on my Goodreads. But yeah, I think we're talking probably hundreds in my lifetime. I did read a lot more actually when I was younger. Would you ever write any short stories as opposed to longer form things which need more time and investment? Yeah, actually, that would be a much more manageable way of trying to produce some writing material, especially if it had if there was a concept that had a start, a middle, and an end. So it was like an adventure from start to finish, and there was not really any room for it to grow into a series or a longer form story, then definitely. But it's just about coming up with the concept and the idea really, and making sure everything is tied up at the end. I don't like books that don't tie up any loose ends. I was hoping House of the Dragon would only follow the Dance of the Dragons because I have a secret wish for a Rebellion TV show. Oh, Henry Cavill. Oh, I'm so blessed that somebody has said that godly man's name in my live stream. Thank you so much. Sorry, I am coming at that from a very female perspective, but can you blame me? Another person for games. Okay, looks like 2025 could be the year where I do GameTube. Is that what they call it? Oh, Dutch Divide, did you have you just started Robin Hobb? The Farseer trilogy? If so, you're yeah, I'm with you on that. Brilliant. I'm glad we've started at a similar time. You have any games collection, Switch, PS5, etc.? Yeah, Switch and PS5. I think those are the only like consoles that I have, and then obviously PC as well. Um, I don't really play that much on my Switch anymore. I mainly got it for Animal Crossing, and I had it overcooked on there. So yeah, if there's any good games on Switch, let me know because I'm. Oh, actually, I did want to play the Legend of Zelda games, and I still haven't. So they might be the next ones that I buy. The Telltale games would be a good fit for your channel. Lots of narrative driven stuff, and there's Game of Thrones ones. Also, Ace Attorney. Thank you. Let me write that down. That is so, so helpful. And thank you as well for knowing what would be a good fit for my channel. That's really kind. Perfect. Oh yeah, and then the second question by Jammer. I just realised I stopped answering midway through. Sorry, Jammer, if you watch this after the stream. What is slash are your favourite genre or genres? So if I think at the moment, definitely fantasy. There's no question about it. My favourite genre at the moment is definitely fantasy. But if you asked me a few years ago, I might have said romance. Therefore, the hybrid of romantasy, which is now a thing, I've been loving. I've eaten it up. I really like romantasy as long as it does not take away from either of the other sides. I have read romantasy before where I'm looking at it thinking, what actually is the fantasy element? And also it's taken away from the plot and the world. And I really, really like world building. And I have read some romantasies that have not focused on that at all. So not everybody does that subgenre well, in my opinion. But yeah, at the moment I'm definitely in my fantasy era. Really do like it. Could try to enter small writing competitions that use photos as prompts. Oh, and such to try writing short stories. That's such a good idea. Yeah, because then it gives you like that little creative spark of inspiration at the start. And that would be really beneficial for me. Have you read the World of Ice and Fire lore book? Love the art in it. No, I haven't, and I can't believe that I haven't because why is it taking me this long? Like I've had it on my TBR for ages, and I don't know why I haven't yet, and I need to. That is going to happen very, very soon. Please do game stream soon. We'll become a channel members. Nice, Ryan. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you. I will. Everybody today has said that they want me to do games. I don't like this is great. So I definitely will. Just let me know what games you think I should do, and I'll get on it. Animal Crossing, the amount of hours played, during 2020 was mind blowing. Do you know what? They were tactical when they released that game. They had the most sales like ever. Well, for Animal Crossing, when they released that, because it was during a time where nobody had stuff to do. I mean, I was working in a hospital at the time, so but the majority of people were at home and didn't have anything to do. So yeah, they released that at the perfect time for them. They got so many sales, and it is just such a great game. Have you heard about the game Tales of the Shire? I have not. That's intrigued me. That sounds cool. I'm going to look that up. The Game of Thrones Telltale games would be a good live stream series, Becky. Thank you. Wow, there's so many recommendations. Oh, most underrated movie or hidden gem. The one that immediately came to my mind, I don't even think is underrated, but I was gonna say Shutter Island. But actually, isn't that just rated really well? I feel like not enough people speak about Shutter Island. That is why I'm going to say that one. It's very random, but plot twist central. Plot twist central. Usual Suspects, that's another one. Usual Suspects. Nobody talks about that. And again, plot twist central. It's so good. Both of those are brilliant movies. I don't know if they're underrated or not, um, because I just don't think people talk about them enough. Reddit has a subreddit called Writing Prompts that has stocks of good ideas to write about. This is great. You are all so knowledgeable. Have you read Idea Review? No, I haven't. I don't think. No. Maybe I should. Little movie called LOTR, Death's Most Underrated. Yeah, I've never heard of that before. Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to. Jokes. Maybe not talked about enough, you're right. Yeah, in my lifetime and online and stuff, I've not seen people talk about them enough. Um, but apparently they're not underrated. What movies and TV shows do you guys think are underrated? Watch Bridge to Terabithia if you want a nice, cozy, feel-good movie. Okay, do not listen to that message at all. Nobody listen to that message. Sorry, Rushy, for singling you out, but it's not a nice, cozy, feel-good movie at all. Wow, you've been on YouTube for so long. Very underrated channel. Wish I found your channel sooner. Thank you. That's very kind. I have been on YouTube for long, but to be honest, it's only really recently that I've actually uploaded stuff people want to watch. I think in the past I used to just upload random stuff, but not everybody wants random stuff. I feel like now I'm listening to what people want. So thank you. Do you recommend reading the Game of Thrones books? I really enjoyed the show. Yes, I would. I would say that they are a difficult read if you're not a like avid reader. But that being said, I would say that I would highly recommend them. I would just say take your time with it. Never ever rush them. We've got all the time in the world because they are unfinished. So I would say as well, go into the series knowing that it doesn't end and it won't ever end. Um, and whether or not we'll get another book anytime soon, I don't think so. So, yeah, that's the only thing is that you've got to go into it knowing that there's not going to be an ending to it. But I would still recommend it because the emotions, man, there's so much that happens in it. It's great. And yeah, and if you enjoyed the show, you'll enjoy the books. Yeah, I'm so sure. Arrival is my fave movie based off a short story. Arrival is great. Awesome. I have never even heard of it, I don't think. I'll check it out. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, let's get back to some questions on my community tab. Um, what persuaded you to start a booktube? I answered that a little bit earlier, but yeah, basically just trying to find stuff that I enjoyed talking about. So, like I said, I was just filming random stuff before, and then I randomly did a book haul in that vlog that I filmed, and I really enjoyed it. And I came away from that thinking, I like talking about books so, so much. I like talking about stuff I'm interested in and hobbies, and that's kind of where it spiraled from there. So that's why I got into BookTube a lot more last year. And kind of similar to reacting to Game of Thrones, I like to watch TV. It's like a hobby. Is that a hobby? Probably not a healthy one, but yeah, so it's kind of like that, and I enjoyed talking about Game of Thrones. So it's kind of just, yeah, put two and two together. Your old videos made me feel old looking at the upload dates. Makes you feel old, makes me feel very old. How do I have videos that are 10 years old on YouTube? How? The algorithm doesn't like random videos. You are so right. Yeah, and that is exactly what it is. Like if you just upload a load of random stuff and you don't have a niche, who's going to want to watch the video and who is YouTube going to show it to? So, yeah, that's kind of why I've been on YouTube for ages but just never really thought about what people wanted to see. Whereas now, I care a lot more about it than I did back then. They want to put you in a box so they can recommend it to a certain group. Yeah, 100%. And it also helps them get it to the right people. So, like, they wouldn't show a Game of Thrones video to people who have never really looked at Game of Thrones stuff before or anything similar. It makes sense. George R. R. Martin will live to be 100. I hope so. And he'll write Winds of Winter, A Dream of Spring, Fire and Blood 2, and Mordor and Egg. You've hurt me. You've physically hurt me there. Yeah, because I don't even think Winds of Winter is going to come out, if I'm being honest. But yeah, we could hope, can't we? We can be blissfully ignorant. It's an easier way to live. What's the Lego on the shelf behind you? Animal Crossing! I do love Animal Crossing. I think you can see Isabel right there. And then there's a house and a floating balloon. Yeah. I do love Animal Crossing. Same goes for Predestination, film based on Halloween story, all you zombies. Nothing to do with zombies, by the way, just a quote from the story. That's cool. 2025 is going to be a good year for you. Wish you a huge success. Gotta go. Can't wait for game streams soon. Thank you for joining us, Ryan. It was so nice to see you. And yeah, can't wait for the game streams. Let's manifest it. Brian, I really hope you're right. Let's be honest, Brian is wrong, but we all hope he's right. Just aim to have fun. Yeah, that's the main thing. That's kind of like what I mentioned earlier, where I feel like I'm uploading a lot or like a healthy amount, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So it doesn't feel like a lot, if that makes sense. It's just fun. How are you finding your first live stream? I'm finding it really fun. I can't believe how long I've been on for, so I will wrap it up soon because if I'm being honest, I thought I was going to be on here for half an hour. Time flies when you're having fun and when you're chatting to brilliant people, and the time has flown. And thank you so much for people who've stuck around. Like some of you stuck around for ages. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, streaming is fun. I can see why people do it all the time now. Talking about Martin, it reminds me that he has he does have a short story that was turned into an Outer Limits episode. I didn't know that. That's cool. Wind River is a big time underrated film. Mentally noted. I will definitely check that out. So to finish off answering some of these Ask Me Anything questions on my Instagram and community tab. Oh, so somebody mentioned which A Song of Ice and Fire location in the East would you be most interested in getting a story about? Somebody else asked that exact question earlier. That one was from David. Again, bravos. And where's the one where the Unsullied are from? I can't remember the name. Cahor. Sorry, I did have to quickly just look at the map. Cahor, I think it's where the Unsullied are, like, they're famous for it, and I think that would be really interesting in learning more about. So yeah, and just more about Essos in general, to be fair. So those are all the ones on my community tab. I'm just gonna quickly have a look at the booktube, the Bookstagram questions. Here we go. So I got another one about what interested you in booktube. So obviously answered that a little bit earlier. Just did a book haul in a random vlog and realised I really liked it and felt cathartic afterwards. I hope cathartic is the right word. I don't quite know what that means, but I felt good afterwards and I wanted to talk about books more. And that's why I did booktube. And then I got a question from the Grease Goblins. If you don't know, Grease Goblins, fellow YouTuber, doing some brilliant content, always does, but at the moment in the build up to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and, you know, anything A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones-esque, the Grease Goblins, that's your dude, has asked, what are you hoping to achieve in the new year, personally or for your channel, whichever? So, do you know what? I've not really set myself any personal goals this year because I always fail them every time. So I decided I was just going to do away with goals this year. And to be fair, because of how my 2024 ended, I didn't really have any time to actually think about goals because things were very chaotic. So I think, to be honest, my goal this year is to be nice and slow. Just relax a bit. Take it nice and slow as much as I can. Take each day with moments of peace in it, which obviously reading helps with. And yeah, just be nice and slow, not stressful. That's my personal goal, if I can manage that. And then for the channel, obviously we're going to do a Night of the Seven Kingdoms content. Definitely. I want to continue uploading twice a week and reacting to Game of Thrones, the TV show, because I'm loving that so much at the moment. And yeah, maybe do some gaming stuff now, apparently, because that's what you guys have said you wanted to see. So yeah, let's just see what the future holds for the channel, but I'm loving it. So, so much fun. And then the Wolf Ranger has put a very insightful chat on, you have to enjoy what you're creating to keep making content. If you don't enjoy it, you simply won't keep at it, nor will you maintain a high level of effort, and your audience will see that. Truer words were never spoken more. I butchered that, but you know what I mean. That is true. That statement is true. You have to enjoy it because your audience will notice if you don't. And yeah, it's very, very, very obvious. 5 minutes off 90 minutes. How have I been talking for so long? I know, for somebody who said it was gonna be a 30-minute long stream. Wow, goodness. Yeah, is that 100,000% true? Is that 10,000,000% true? 1,000,000? Oh goodness, why am I so bad at maths? That's embarrassing. If anybody can tell me what number of percentage that is true that Mad Max has put, please let me know. Really enjoyed listening to you tonight and hope you watch and listen to you again soon. Thank you very much. I am going to wrap this stream up because an hour and a half. Wow, I've talked for so long. Is that 1,000,000? Okay, great. Thank you so much. I made myself look very, very dumb and I can't edit this out. So now you know I'm not good at maths. But yeah, 1,000,000% true. I failed A-level maths. I didn't even get the chance to fail it. They wouldn't even let me do it for A-level. Wonderful stream. Good night. Brilliant. Unrelated, but my New Year's resolution was to go to talking therapy this year, and I do quite enjoy it. That is a brilliant resolution. I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm also so glad that you've enjoyed it as well. That's a really great one. I hope it stays that way for you too. Great fair stream. Welcome to live streaming, Becky. Woo! Thank you for giving me a warm welcome, everyone. This was great. Quick maths. Wasn't very quick for me. I would have been sat here pondering about that for like at least another 24 hours trying to work it out. Anyways, I'm going to end this stream. Thank you all so, so much for joining me. This has been so much fun. And I hope you all have a brilliant rest of your day or evening, whatever time zone you're in. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.